Alright, so let's see what I got at the Greenberg show. I wasn't going to, I was thinking about doing it in some sort of order of how I acquired it, because the last things that I picked up are at the very top of the bag, and I guess the very first things that I picked up are at the bottom of the bag. So, uh, I guess there is some sort of disorderly order, but it is what it is because I'm eager to share the contents with all y'all. Um, and there is something I do have to say, and I have mentioned it in a previous video that I had done a while back. Um, it's about guardrails. Now, I usually take out more than what I plan to spend, and it's and that intention comes in mind with sharing whatever is left over with my wife, because it's not often that my wife gets to go to the ATM, and so anything that is left over, I give that to her because she needs to get through the week, and she doesn't. I mean, um, also it helps me to spend wise, because had I not, if I don't keep my guardrails in place, not only would I have nothing left to share with my wife, I'd probably blow through that and then find the ATM at the somewhere and remove more money from the bank account. It's like I told the vendor at one time, if I didn't keep my head in with how I spend, I'd be living in a van down by the river. And last I checked, there are no electrical outlets. There is no way for you to run a train, model trains, down by the river. So, so I didn't go too nuts. Plus, there was a fine chap who was selling Disney pins, and not to get off subject, there have been a lot of health related things going on, both in my household and with my mother. And my sister-in-law, big shout out to my sister-in-law, Stacy. She had been helping with my wife going to doctor's appointments for my wife, for our son, and so since she's a very big Disney nut and she collects pins, I picked up some Disney pins for her. So, Stacy, if you're watching this video, thank you very much for your continued help while I'm away at the hotel. So now, let's get into it. So, these puppies, I'm just going to set this bag down here. As a matter of fact, hold on, guys. Alright, so getting back to where I was going. And I guess I am going to save kind of the best for last. But I picked up, these were the last two items that I picked up. Two, uh, two Walther's Auto Racks. They are not totally completed kits, if you will. Couplers do need to be remounted. The axles on the wheel sets on one of them needs to be reattached, but the fellow was selling them for $25 each, and since this was towards the end of the show, I managed to talk him down to $22.50 each. So that is a very nice bargain, and this is going to be, yeah, there's the other $25 price tag, correct? Do you see it? Do you not see it? Now you see it. So I already have 6 auto racks, so now this will make 8. One other thing I should mention, that I don't know if anyone has experienced the same thing, but I seem to have found myself slowing down in my collecting. It's like I have so many locomotives, so many rolling stock, that now I've become a little bit picky choosy. That I'm going for the locomotives and rolling stock that I'm really that are somewhat on my wish list, more than, ooh, that's nice, ooh, that's nice, ooh, that's nice, because I have amassed quite a few locomotives. So anyways, so from my friend Robert Aarons, who always has some nice stuff, and he was, when I was at his tables, anyone who would stop by, anyone that he had known, he was helping promote the channel. And Robert, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So on his tables were 2 locomotives that caught my eye. What's first? Well, let's start with L for Lifelike. This is a Lifelike Jeep 38 in the Reading livery, and I've been looking and looking and looking for a Reading locomotive with this type of livery. I do have the B-Line livery. I have the black and green livery, but this was on my radar, and it ran beautifully on the test track, and this was a true find, and I got that for $20. Also for $20, I got an AHM Mahano Jeep 18 with the Norfolk and Western livery. Yeah, I mean, there was another Jeep 18 with the Norfolk and Western livery, but as you and I both know, there was another Norfolk and Western Jeep 18 by AHM Mahano that I picked up. Someone painted it over and totally obliterated the Norfolk and Western, and I turned that into the Via locomotive. And this one is in fine shape, although I will have to take a look at the headlight. So again, Robert, thank you so much. Moving right along. I guess what would be circling back to what I said about slowing down. It wasn't until I got to the, I guess if you will, the main part of the hole that I really started to pick up items. So, came upon this one table of a fellow who was selling rolling stock and locomotives. And don't get mad, Dave, but I got an Atlas Roco Jeep unit. Of course, the railings aren't intact, but I got her for $25. Uh, the guy had a test power pack at his table, and when he hooked it up to the to his power pack, ran perfectly. So there's that. I will have to uh, replace the rear coupler, but that shouldn't be too difficult. Pardon me. Also from the same vendor, I got an Athearn H2466 Trainmaster. Yeah, I can't, what can I tell you? I love the Trainmasters. This was custom painted in Reading livery. This one also ran like a dream. So there's that. Also from that same vendor, I picked up, if I can get my fingers around this box, a heavyweight heavyweight Baltimore and Ohio coach. I already have a few, but I'm wanting to get a couple more, and the couplers are there. Although it looks like one of the couplers appears to be broken, but I have spares, so that's no worry, and that's very nice. And lastly, from this vendor, it's a kit, but it's a boxcar kit for New Haven, uh, New York, New Haven, and Hartford, which will complement my my Alco FA, the Ferteshi Alco New Haven FA unit that I got, that you saw in the previous video. So there are these. Lastly, and I did save the best for last, there was this table of someone selling Thomas the Tank engine, paraphernalia, locomotives, track, whatnot, and below their table was this storage tote, and in the storage tote were Thomas DVDs, but these 8 boxes. And I looked through each box, and there was I'll shift the camera up a little bit. There was this caboose, flat car with a tank, another flat car with a tank, flat car with the searchlight, flat car with a army truck, another flat car with an army truck, this flat car with a few missiles, and finicky box, and this big mama right over here. Now, why was I covering up this box? Because I wasn't 100% sure what the price was, because I thought the vendor was selling it for $11 each, which almost made me pick and choosy, but it really says $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. $1. And $1. And I said to the vendor, "Are you really? Am I seeing this? Am I seeing this right? Are you really asking for $1 each?" And the vendor said, "Yes. I don't. You see that I'm selling. You see that I'm have all this time and stuff. I don't need any of this." And the couplers are, everything is intact. Although some of these cars have knuckle couplers, whereas the others have horn hooks. But these guys are intact. I said, and that these are 8 cars, $8. I said, first I said, I'll take them off you for $5. I'm like, yeah, don't be too cheapy. And but she met me at 6. Yeah, I made off real cool. This was, by all means, a deal of the century. Somewhat. I don't know. Maybe I'm boasting too much. So that about wraps it for this video. So I maybe I'll probably post a separate operating session video showing all these things in action. Of course, I am going to have to service the locomotives that I picked up. I definitely am going to have to replace the coupler on this poor soul. And but there'll be another video showing these tasty items in action. So, with that being said, I wish to thank my subscribers for their continued support. If you are not already a subscriber, there is a link in the bottom right-hand corner. Please like and share. Please help me get past 325, reach and surpass the 325 subscriber mark. And, as always, thank you so much for stopping by. I'll see you soon.